It's Lee. I'm here with Colton Medlin. He's with Ferris. He brought out to us today a ISX 3300 right here. 60-inch deck, big ride on, 40 horse. I'm gonna turn it over to him and give some details.
All right, guys, this is our ISX 3300, our biggest, baddest, gas-powered zero turn. This is essentially the F350 of the ISX series. So it's a 3300, a 2200, and an 800. So it'll go F350, F250, F150 to simplify it. Kawasaki engine and Vanguard engine options on all of our commercial grade units. This one specifically is the 40 horse Vanguard, the biggest engine in the industry for gas powered units, EFI, and it has the oil guard system on it. 500-hour oil change interval. It's a dry sump system. It's got 6-quart system, so 1 quart is in the engine at all times and 5 quarts in the aluminum reservoir on the outside of the engine. So it's going to elongate the life of the engine and the oil because it allows those to run cooler, right? Quarter turn on the top to get to the oil filter right there, and then another quarter turn to pop it out. You see that nice automotive style oil filter right there? Yeah. And obviously that's going to make for a lot cleaner and easier oil change instead of turning it off the side of the engine and getting oil all over the place. A lot of guys will zip tie that so you don't get some dude put gas in it, which has happened. Anyways, oil drain right in the bottom right there. So it's got a little cap up under it, and then you can just turn it right here, drain straight out. Like I said, easy, quick, and clean oil changes. That is exclusive to the Vanguard engine. Other two engine options you got on this is the 38.5 Cowie. That would be the FX 1000, that's an EFI, or you can get the 31 Cowie, which is the carbureted on this specific unit. Like I said in some of the other videos, if I were running a business, or if I knew I was going to be putting a whole lot of hours on my units, I'd go with the Vanguard oil guard system. I just think that's kind of a duh type thing. But if you're married to Kawasaki, I'm not going to try and talk you off of it because that's a strong engine too. Lifting the proverbial hood, a few cool features under this bad boy. We run the Hydro Gear 5400 transaxles on the 3300. I think that's a 9-inch cooling fan. And as you can see right down to the bottom of the unit, right? So when you're blowing it off after you get done mowing, it can go right down the bottom, nice and easy. You're not gonna be eating grass and it's not gonna be blowing back up in your face as much, right? Independent reservoirs for the hydros in case one were to fail. You wouldn't get any sort of cross-contamination into the other. Another cool thing right here, hydraulic oil sticker and belts and blades part numbers, easily accessible so that you can call your dealer and say, hey, this is what I need. You don't have to go searching on the internet or whatever it is. It's right there, so that's nice. Dual tanks on this bad boy, 11 gallons altogether, 5.5 in each one. There is a switcher, so it's not draining equally. Yep. You got to switch it back and forth, which is, I don't have a preference on it, which is nice. Cup holder, and then you got a little box.
Hey, if you like these kind of videos, subscribe to Murphy Mower. All right.
All the ISX series in 2024 models will come standard with the suspension seat. This is a 23 model. The 24 model will have the Ferris emblem in it right here, and it'll be a little bit nicer looking than this one. Adjustable to the weight before you sit down. You got adjustable armrest right here. You got lumbar support on the right side right there. And then on the left side, you can recline it. So that's as far as it reclines, but you can sit it forward or backward. And then you got the headrest, which looks really cool. I don't think it serves that much of a purpose because, you're normally not, reclined back mowing the grass. This is optional on the 2024 models. So you can pay an extra $100, $150 and get one of those. Like I said, looks cool. I don't think it serves that much of a purpose. Cut heights, you got 5 all the way down to 1.5. Those will go by 1/4 inch increments. And you can cut in transport mode, which is 5 inches, which is where that's at right now. Another cool feature on the deck lift, and I had to flip it over because I had a shorter individual. You can take these bolts out and flip it and make it further away, or like I said, I flipped it and made it further closer. Now be wary of this. It's not a bad thing, but it's just something you need to be aware of. If you do a lot of deck floating, this unit, this lever right here is spring loaded. right? So you could pop that off if you wanted to. But if you're doing deck floating and you're not paying attention, you're cutting at 4, 4.5 or whatever, you push it all the way up, it snaps back in.
Might lock in, yeah.
If you ain't paying attention, you don't lower it back, you might be cutting at 5 and then 4.5, so it could stair step a little bit. Just an FYI on that one. But I do like that it's spring loaded, so that's nice. Obviously the selling point on the Ferris is the independent suspension, right? So you see the large coilover shocks on the front, adjustable like your ATVs and your side-by-sides. Same thing on the back, adjustable like your ATVs and your side-by-sides. You got the large coilover shocks right here. And if you're running bagging system, you got 3 settings right here that you can kind of counterbalance your weights and whatnot. That's the whole selling point on the Ferris. We're the only guys in the industry with the independent suspension. And this is our new ISX suspension. So the old one was just the IS suspension, and it only had 2 points of contact. So it was like 1, 2 on the front caster. That's the old one. The new one has 4 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you're going over that rough terrain and whatnot, you can see that front suspension working like this, right? Our deck is a floating deck and it's connected to the suspension components. So as you're going over that rough terrain and you got that suspension on the frame working, the deck will stay level, right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's never gonna scalp if you don't hit a pothole that's this big, right? And that's gonna happen no matter what unit it is. But the floating deck connected to the suspension components really eliminates a lot of your scalping issues. Contrary to belief, you'll get some guys say that our units scalp a lot. I call that more of an operator issue more than a unit issue, but we won't get too much into that one. 3300, you got 60-inch deck or you got 72-inch deck. Like I mentioned in the other videos, all our decks are fabricated and or welded. You got 7-gauge steel reinforced on the trim edge and on the front. It's a 10-gauge steel throughout. And then another layer of steel where the spindle is at to give the spindle some extra support. Greasable spindles, you see the grease point right in the top on the trim edge right here. And then to get to the middle, you got your little, I call it a trap door, but, and then there's your greasable spindle in the middle right there. And then on the chute side, it'll be right there. Might need to get a 90 or definitely
flexible hose anyway.
Yeah, definitely need to lower the deck to get into that one, but you know, that's just part of the game, no big deal. And then if you go down to the 2200, you can get a 52 or a 60. So the 2200 is a lot closer to the 3300 than the 800 is to the 2200, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
13-inch front flat free casters, 26 by 12 by 12 rear tires, nice and big. Those are the pneumatic tires. Obviously, you do have the Michelin wheel option, and I kind of talked about that in the Z3 video, so go look at that. I won't go over that again, but those are some options that you got in terms of the wheels. Grease points, 1 in each caster on the front, so that'll be on the outside. It's right there. Yep. And then the front fork, like I said, we don't have those coming out of the factory like that.
Screw some in.
Yeah, just put one in, no big deal. And then suspension components, so you got one right here on each side, and then you got one right here on each side for the deck, and then you got one in the back. Where is it at? Let's see. It's right here. It's pretty freaking dirty, but it's right there.
Okay.
And then 3 greasable spindles, and I swear there's 1 or 2 more, but I'm not exactly sure where that's at.
Have to get the manual out.
So much for a product specialist, right? That's okay though. I'm not gonna act like I know it.
Can't remember it all.
Yeah. Like I said, whenever you're looking at comparing a lot of these lawnmowers, it's gonna have a Cowie, a Kohler, or a Vanguard. It's gonna be about the same deck sizes, about the same size tires. You know, all the things are gonna be comparable when you're looking at a Ferris compared to anything else. Price points, cut quality, all the things. Comfort is where we're at right here. So the independent suspension on the frame paired with the suspension seat, the floating seat, which everybody has, nothing's touching this thing. So this is something that you need to try out before you buy your next mower. In my opinion, I always say, you probably don't want to sell yourself short on something real comfortable. So yeah.
Well, you're going to be on it. These guys that buy this, they're on it all day.
Yeah.
And that makes a difference. So
you're going over rough terrain. You got to slow down whenever you're going over something rough on a rigid frame unit. it's beating you up. With this one, you can really power through some of that rough terrain because that thing's working good.
Yeah.
It's nice and comfortable. You don't have to go see the chiropractor as much when you're riding on a Ferris. So that's going to help you work faster, and it's going to save you some money on the back end. So it's a win-win right there.
All right. So Colton's going to allow me to get on this machine and to give it a test run. So we'll see what it looks like here. Anyway, Colton, I appreciate you coming out. So how can they reach out to you?
3 main platforms, Instagram and TikTok. That'll be at Ferris Mowers Colton Medlin. That'd be COLTONMEDLIN. And then on Facebook, you can just type in Colton Medlin, and my face should pop up on there. Give the Ferris Mowers Instagram and Facebook and TikTok a follow too. Reach out for any demos. If you're not in my area, I can get you in touch with who does cover your area, and we can get somebody out there with a unit to get you on there and get you a free demo and whatnot.
And what is your area exactly?
I cover Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia. I go to the panhandle of Florida. I'll go into South Carolina, and then the western parts of North Carolina. But we got guys in, where are they at? Pennsylvania, New York, Rhode Island, Virginia, North Carolina, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana. That's all we got right now. Yeah, we got a lot of guys. We got 6 guys on our team. They cover pretty large territories. So, like I said, if you want to demo something anywhere in that area, I can get you in touch with who you need to, and we'll get something set up for you guys.
And I plan on putting those links in the description.
Yes,
so,
sir.
all right, we're out.